the throat today. I don't know about you, but I love Christmas music. Just really zings me. And The Little Drummer Boy is one of my favorites. Originally, it was known as the Carol of the Drum. It was written by Catherine Davis in 1940s. I didn't realize it was that old. Originally, it was recorded by the Von Trapp family singers in 1951. And the lyrics relate how, as a young, poor boy, the drummer boy was summoned by the Magi to the nativity of Jesus. Without a gift for the infant, the little drummer boy played his drum, recalling, "I played my best for him. He smiled at me." Excluding all of the pa-rum-pa-pum-pums, the simple words of the little drummer boy are, "Come, they told me, a newborn king to see. Our finest gifts we bring to lay before the king. Come. Little baby, I am a poor boy too. I have no gifts to bring that fits to give the king. Shall I play for you on my drum?" Mary nodded. The ox and lamb kept time. I played my drum for him. I played my very best for him. Then he smiled at me and my drum. The song always creates a visual for me of a little urchin with raggedy clothes and a dirty face and no shoes, completely and totally innocent, wanting to give something to this precious child who lay in a manger. While the little drummer boy did not exist over 2,000 years ago, he does provide us, even in song and music, with many valuable and yet simple lessons that many of us have tried to learn through the years and yet still may struggle with. This mild-mannered child had nothing to give the Prince of Peace. He had no coins to buy an iPod or an Xpod for him. He probably couldn't even afford the clothes on his back. So he did the best he could. He gave the new baby something that could only come completely and totally from him and from his heart: the playing of his drum. Pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. Besides being Christmas time, I have come to believe that this is also the time of seduction. The media used to begin their advertising days after Thanksgiving. Then, about 20 years ago, we began to see the hype regarding toys and gifts that we should buy before Thanksgiving. Now we see Christmas decorations right next to the aisle, but next to the pumpkins and the face masks for Halloween. And in some communities, holiday street flags hang from the lampposts almost right after Labor Day. I was stunned to discover this year that some of the stores were even open on Thanksgiving Day. What a disappointment. We are seduced by the need to buy more, give more each and every year. We have become trapped in the need to be more, do more, and give more, and go more during the month of December. I think the true meaning of the little drummer boy and the lesson the song teaches us is that each of us is enough. Repeat after me. I am enough now and always.
I am enough now and always.
Let's think about the Christmas tree that probably stands someplace in your home. Nature in its undisturbed state is always enough. The tree doesn't sit there thinking, "I need more branches. I'm not quite right over here. I'm not as beautiful as the other trees are. How can I be more for this family?" We know from experience there was enough sunlight, nutrients in the soil and rain to help the tree grow. Nature doesn't struggle with having to give or do more. Everything that it needs is in the streams, the forests, the oceans, the skies, the sun, the moon are always enough. They are exactly as God intended them to be. So why do we, especially now at Christmas time, feel that we are never, ever enough? Didn't God create us just like the air and the wind and the fire? In our need to prove ourselves and our desire to please, we have lost touch with our own natural wholeness within. How did this happen? What created this situation within us? Why do we want to be the do-all and end-all at Christmas time? Why? I think it's because we are attempting to live a truth that is not ours and to follow a path that is not natural for us. We've absorbed and accepted other people's expectations for the holidays, not our own. We did and do this when we are sucked in by the media. And of course, deep within all of us is the desire to please, to be accepted, to do exactly what we think is the right thing for everyone else. We want our children to have the gifts they desire, our spouse to have the new iPhone or diamond earrings, and our parents to have every comfort they ever wanted. It is time for us to remember that we are not required to wager our personhood in an attempt to please everyone or anyone this time of the year. Whatever you choose to do or give is exactly what is needed by the individual or the situation at that very moment. When we listen to the small voice within, when we embrace our intuition, when we do exactly what is needed in any given moment, then we know indeed we are one with the divine, one with God. Another reason we feel we must do more is because we compare ourselves to others. I know nobody does that here. Everyone else seems to come from the perfect family. They give the perfect holiday party and dress exactly in the right outfit. Their Christmas cards are always the first ones to arrive with the glowing letters of how fabulous this last year was and how wonderful their children are, or how great their travels were. They always seem to find the perfect gift for everyone. Yes, we compare ourselves to others, and because of that, we feel that we must do and be more than who we truly are. Here, however, is a late news flash. Nobody is perfect, including families, friends, or yourself. So give up that myth that you have created. When was the last time that you heard God comparing himself to someone else? You haven't. Since God is in you and as you and through you, why do you feel compelled to compare yourself to others? After all, you are one with God, one with Spirit. Do you think that for one moment that little drummer boy compared his skills to another child? Did the three wise men doubt the gifts that they brought? Now there's a real visual for you. Can't you just see these three men stately on their camels, trudging across the desert, moving towards the star? They're about halfway there to Bethlehem one night, and they're sitting around in their tent, and they begin to talk about the gifts that they've brought to give to the new child. And so they unwrap them in the precious soft fur that they have, and one looks out there and says, well, maybe I should have brought silk instead of myrrh. After all, what's the kid going to do with incense at his age? Then again, cinnamon is nice. You know, maybe he would have found that more useful than gold. What's a kid going to do with gold? Of course, they didn't second guess their gifts. They brought exactly the divine right and perfect gift to the baby Jesus. Pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. When we compare ourselves to others, we block out the real gift from showing up. What's that, you ask? The gift of yourself. Christmas is about creating cherished and loving memories. One of the reasons why I have this tie on today is it was my dad's. The singer, Chris Williamson, tells the story of when she was a child, her mother had to have all of the decorations absolutely perfect. Every strand of tinsel was put on the tree just right, and the lights were perfectly laid out on the limbs. When I heard about this, I thought her mother and my mother must have had something in common. And then she reminded in the story that she was telling that it was a great honor to put the angel on top of the tree. And whoever happened to be chosen that year, the father would pick up the child and hold them up as the angel was put on the top of the tree and looked out over everyone that was there. And one year, just before Christmas, Chris's mother decided it was time to cut her hair. And so she sat in the kitchen on a wooden chair, very uncomfortable, as her mother cut her long braids off and made her hair shoulder length. There she sat, feeling small and naked, in the kitchen with her hair all around the floor, as she felt pensive like a lamb who had just been shaved. Her dad walked in with a bundle of wood in his arms and walked to the stove and put it down. And then he knelt down around her and picked up her hair and walked into the living room where the tree was. And then he called her, and he began to carefully put her long brown hair on the tree. And he said, "This year we will have real angel hair on the tree." Who among us doesn't have a Christmas memory as precious and as wonderful as that one? More than likely, we don't remember what year it was, how big the Christmas tree was, or the gifts that we received that year. We do, however, remember the love that was shared and given from the heart. That is what we're supposed to give this year, the blessing of love in our heart. Sometimes in our feeling of not being enough, we begin to feel guilty. When we come from a position of being enough, we realize all those inner feelings of shoulds, haves, tos, and ought tos, that guilt is what eats away and destroys our self-esteem. When we release those feelings of guilt, we also experience an inner peace and maintain our own power rather than giving it away to others or allowing others to be manipulated or to manipulate us. So often at Christmas time, we feel like we have to give a gift, or we must attend the boss's holiday party, or we have to bake for the potluck that we're going to. When we don't want to, we feel guilty or less than. Whatever you do or give is enough, and don't allow yourself to be manipulated by what others are doing and feeling. Remember, we are all responsible for our own emotions and experiences, absolutely no one else's. Christmas time is filled with expectations. Once again, because of the media, we have an unrealistic picture oftentimes concocted in our head of what the holiday experience should be all about. Year after year, we have visions. Our visions fall short of what they should be, and we end up feeling empty and unfulfilled. Picture yourself sitting at a beautifully decorated Christmas dining table, soft Christmas music playing, and a twinkling Christmas tree in the living room right next to the dining room. This is a time of peace on earth, goodwill toward others. And you picture yourself and your family all sitting down together around the table. There's a 20-pound turkey perfectly ready to be carved, and the dressing and yams look yummy and smell exquisite. Now, instead of seeing laughter and joy, no one is getting along. There's the discussion about the president, pros and cons, or someone may be a little bit tipsy and begin to get too loud, or they remember something that made them angry 6 years ago. Sometimes, in spite of our efforts and our dreams, people just don't get along at Christmas or family gatherings. They just don't show up like we want them or expect them to do. Perhaps you're hoping that this year will be different. Your children and their children will be cheerful and patient and kind towards each other. Well, if they've been that way from January to November, chances are you're okay. If not, it might be a long shot for a happy Christmas day. Or you might find them opening presents exclaiming, "Oh, I already have one of those." We cringe on the inside and curse ourselves for not having checked before we got it. Somehow we think that the perfect Christmas happens in everyone else's house but ours. Christmas is packed with expectations. Life is never perfect. And when we set high expectations for an event as important as Christmas, then often we're setting ourselves up for dissatisfaction and unhappiness. So how can we be as innocent as that little drummer boy, giving our best without relinquishing who we are at Christmas? How can we turn those expectations and feelings of not being good enough into thoughts of loves and blessing? After all, isn't that why God sent Jesus to earth? To teach us to love one another. First, it is a time to release all those feelings that you have to be, do, and make yourself better and be in everything to everybody else. Simplify. When we're willing to let go of trying to do it all, then we relax, we have more energy, and we're focused on the moment right here, right now. Next, don't be afraid to ask for help. You don't have to do it all yourself. A family is a team. Give everyone something to contribute, to do on Christmas. Even a young child can help take out the trash while mommy is inside doing the dishes. If you can't afford a gift, don't buy it. We always regret it after the fact when the Visa bill comes in, and then we kick ourselves wondering why we ever did what we did. Remember, Christmas is about giving love and giving of yourself to others. It's not about having to buy the most expensive big gift trying to please someone else. When you feel stress or frustration, coming or going, get out of the house, take a walk, clear the air, love the puppies. It will help you calm down and give your family and friends a break from you. It is when we don't take care of our own needs that we feel put upon, used, and frustrated. It's a vicious circle that we can turn our joyous occasion into one of anger. Let go of those feelings of guilt. Enjoy what comes this season. It may not be what you expect. It may, however, probably going to be better. Make love a focus of all that you do and a part of yourself in the coming 17 days. Remember, people want gifts from your heart more than they want anything else. A hug, a moment of time for an elderly person, a bike ride with a child is more of a gift than you'll ever realize. A few years ago, a young family had spent the holidays in San Francisco. Christmas was on a Sunday, and they needed to get back to LA that day so that they could report for work on Monday. It was a 400-mile journey that they had to take with two very young children. One was only 1 year old. They stopped in King City on the I-5 to get lunch that day, and the restaurant was nearly empty. They were the only family there. All at once, 1-year-old Eric began to squeal with glee. His hands began to pound on the high chair. His face was alive with excitement. His eyes were wide, and his toothless face just was in a big, huge grin. He wiggled and giggled, and then the mother saw the source of his merriment and excitement. Her eyes could barely take in it all at once. A tattered rag of a coat, obviously bought by someone else eons ago. dirty, spotted, greasy and worn, baggy pants, a thin body, toes that poked out of shoes, and a shirt that had a ring around the collar, and a face like none other, with gums as bare as her son's. "Hi there, baby! Hi there, big boy! I see you, Buster!" The mother and her husband gave each other a look of, "Oh God, what do we do now?" Their meal came, and the banging on the high chair continued, and the old man was shouting clear across the room, "Do you want no patty cake? Can you play patty cake? That a boy? Do you know peekaboo? Peekaboo! Hey, look, he knows peekaboo." The little boy continued to laugh and answer with a hi. Every call was echoed out into the restaurant, and no one was happy with the performance. After all, the guy was drunk, and he was a total disturbance. The mother and father felt totally embarrassed and humiliated and ate their meal fast. Even the oldest child said, "What is that man doing? Why is he talking so loud?" The father went to pay the check, and the mother gathered up all of their things and tried to slip past the man so she could avoid him. And as she did, Eric, her 1-year-old, reached out with eyes totally focused on this man, with both of his arms wide open, and he lunged for him, lunged for the old drunk man. And the mom's eyes asked and implored, "Would you let me hold your baby?" It was too late to say no. Eric had already propelled himself into the arms of the old man. It was one swift movement. A very old man and a very young child consummated their love relationship in that moment. Eric laid his tiny head on the old man's shoulder, and he cradled him in his arms as he stroked his back. And the man's eyes closed, and the mother saw tears hovering over his lashes. His age's hands, full of grime and pain and hard labor, gently, ever so gently, held that child. The mother stood silent and completely and totally awestruck. The old man rocked and cradled Eric in his arms. And then he opened his eyes, and he looked at the mother square in the eyes. "You take care of that baby." He pried Eric from his chest, unwillingly and longingly, as if it was painful. And the mother reached out for her child, and the old man addressed her. "God bless you, ma'am. You gave me my Christmas gift." She said nothing more than thank you as she fled the restaurant in tears. What can we give from our heart that can never be bought? What is the finest gift we can bring this holiday season for the spirit that is in all of us? The simple gift of a hug, a lingering moment of unconditional love, time without strings, the sound of laughter. That is what Christmas is really about. Those are the gifts that last forever in our memories and hearts. It's the gifts that we can't buy that are truly the most important. Come, they told me, a newborn king, to see our finest gifts we bring, to lay before the king. So I played for my best for him. Pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. This is the truth in my life. This is the truth in yours. Merry Christmas, and so it is. We're down. He's already over there.